Ever wondered what really happens when a tooth goes missing? Ever wonder what? Everyone says, just get a bridge. But Dr. Esma, is it really that simple? Or is there something they're not telling us? Today we're pulling back the curtain on dental bridges, the good, the bad, and the stuff no one explains at the first appointment. If you've ever chewed on one side, hidden your smile, or Googled at 2 a.m., wondering what comes next, you're in the right place.
Rasim, that's exactly why this topic matters. A dental bridge can be life-changing or disappointing, depending on what you know before you decide. There are questions patients don't even realize they should ask, and myths that sound comforting but aren't always true. In the next few minutes, we'll uncover what a bridge really does to your teeth, your bite, and your long-term oral health.
So don't blink, because one detail might change how you see bridges forever. Let's be honest, Dr. Esma. Most people don't rush to the dentist the day a tooth goes missing. They chew a little slower, avoid crunchy food, maybe even practice smiling in the mirror to hide that gap. Weeks turn into months, and suddenly the problem feels normal. But is that quiet adjustment actually causing bigger trouble behind the scenes?
Exactly, Rasim. I see patients every week who say, I got used to it. What they don't feel is how nearby teeth slowly shift, how chewing pressure changes, or how the jaw starts compensating. A dental bridge is often suggested at this stage, but many people don't realize it's not just about filling a space, it's about protecting everything around it.
And that's where things start getting interesting, and a little uncomfortable for anyone who thought a missing tooth was just a cosmetic issue. So this isn't just about looks anymore, is it, Dr. Esma? Because when people hear bridge, they imagine a simple fix, walk in, walk out, problem solved. But from what you're saying, the real story is what happens if the solution is rushed, or worse, misunderstood.
That's right, Rasim. I've seen cases where a poorly planned bridge led to sensitive teeth, uneven chewing, or even damage to perfectly healthy teeth next to the gap. On the other hand, when done correctly, a bridge can restore balance, comfort, and confidence. The difference is knowledge, understanding how your bite works and what your mouth actually needs.
Which means the real shock isn't that bridges exist, it's how much smarter the decision becomes when you know what to look for. Dr. Esma, give us a little background here. Dental bridges sound modern, but they've been around forever, right? Yet people still seem surprised by the outcome, sometimes pleasantly, sometimes not. Is there a typical story that plays out in your clinic?
All the time, Rasim. A very common case is someone who lost a tooth years ago and never replaced it. At first, no pain, no urgency. Then they come in because chewing feels uneven or their jaw feels tired. When we examine them, we see wear on certain teeth and strain where it shouldn't be. Once a properly planned bridge is placed, they're shocked by how natural eating feels again.
And that moment of realization usually comes with one thought: I wish I'd understood this sooner. Alright, doctor. Esma, let's put on the science glasses for a moment. People hear bridge and picture a fixed object, but there's a whole engineering story happening inside the mouth. What's the expert way to think about this?
Great question, Rasim. Scientifically, a dental bridge redistributes chewing forces across multiple teeth. Your mouth is designed like a system. When one part is missing, the load shifts. If the bridge isn't designed precisely, that extra force can overload certain teeth or the jaw joint. That's why measurements, bite analysis, and materials matter so much. It's not guesswork, it's applied biomechanics.
So when the science is respected, a bridge doesn't just replace a tooth, it restores balance you didn't even realize you'd lost. Alright, Dr. Esma, let's break this down step by step because people love clarity. If someone walks into your clinic today with a missing tooth, what actually happens from that first conversation to walking out with a bridge that feels right?
First, Rasim, we listen. We look at medical history, examine the bite, and take digital scans to understand how the teeth work together. Next comes planning, choosing the right type of bridge and preparing the supporting teeth carefully. Then the bridge is crafted to match the bite, shape, and smile. Finally, we place it, adjust it, and test how it feels during real chewing movements.
So it's a journey, not a shortcut, and every step is there to make sure the final result feels like it was always part of you. Now this is the part people really need, Dr. Esma, the do's and don'ts. Because once someone hears bridge, they're tempted to rush. What are the biggest mistakes you see people make before or after getting one?
The biggest mistake, Rasim, is treating a bridge like an indestructible object. Don't ignore cleaning around it, and don't assume discomfort is normal. Another mistake is choosing speed over planning, skipping bite analysis or follow-up checks. On the flip side, do ask questions, do follow hygiene instructions, and do come back if something feels off. A bridge should feel stable, not stressful.
In other words, a smart bridge isn't just placed, it's maintained, respected, and listened to.